Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're after playing for one day of the new patch. We're going to talk about some of the biggest changes that we've felt and how that really impacts the game as a whole. So just getting right into it, the first and most important thing to understand about the new patch is all of the different timers that different things happen. So before, objectives would spawn at 5 minutes, the first objectives, and the plates would not drop until 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Now both the objectives and the plates drop at 6 minutes. So now you have an extra minute of lane phase. What this really means and how this has kind of affected things is early game champions get a bit of a buff in this way, because now you have an additional minute in lane to kind of abuse your, say, weak early game laner, or kind of get some type of advantage, that type of thing, which can be really, really useful for any early game champion to get an even bigger lead and kind of snowball harder. But if you are a champion who's a more safe champion, you can still be fine even if you're more scaling, especially if you are like trying to get a certain item spike, because now a lot of the dragon fights and the herald fights, they happen where a lot of the strongest members of the fights will actually have a full first item plus boots, or something of the like, which is a bit different. And this also changes the jungle timers, because now before jungles would only clear each side of the map twice. Now you can clear one side of the map 3 times and the other twice, because of this additional minute that you have. So that does also kind of change things overall. But that's kind of the first main timer. The next main timer is Baron. Baron spawns at 11 minutes, but the first Baron is weaker. It's only going to last for 90 seconds, the first Baron. And I think the minions are a little bit weaker. That might be wrong, but overall the first Baron's a bit weaker. And then lastly, now Elder spawns at 19 minutes instead of 18. So Baron, by the way, it used to spawn at 12, now 11, and then Elder now 19. So changes the pacing of the game a bit more. Sometimes you're able to now get 3 Barons before Elder and often end the game before Elder starts. But then Elder does spawn a bit later, so some games that are more getting stalled out don't end until the 19-minute mark. Whoever wins the fight on Elder kind of wins that game. After this, we also have Bloodthirster on 80 carries. So this item is really, really game-changing. It is probably the best ADC item in the game right now. Most ADCs should be building it as a first item, honestly. And the reason that this is so impactful is not just because it's strong, because of course, like, many items got added, many items became stronger or weaker. But Bloodthirster specifically impacts everyone because it's a lifeline item. So if someone has Bloodthirster and you don't realize it, you're going to think you can one-shot them or kill them when you just can't, because they have Bloodthirster. So paying attention to 80 carry itemization and realizing when they have Bloodthirster, so you know they're going to get that additional shield now when they do heal up, is really, really important, because now instead of just getting the healing that you normally got from Bloodthirster, you now get the shield bow passive, which again gives you a shield when you're low health. Overall, then, just crit ADCs as a whole are getting a lot stronger. That's kind of an important thing to mention on the patch alongside that itemization stuff, just because so many different items got a lot stronger in the crit category. A lot of items scale better with crit now, that type of thing. Then after that, we also have the enchant changes. So some of the biggest enchants that people were kind of looking at were like Hullbreaker and Hullbreaker for bruisers. I tried out Hullbreaker, as you're going to see in this game. Honestly, it feels pretty bad. I don't really think it's very good on many champions. A champion like Fiora, for example, doesn't really utilize it that well because it doesn't proc her vitals. It feels a little clunky, and it really doesn't do that much for you overall. I would say it's not the strongest enchant of the ones that got added. Probably one of the weaker ones, in fact. And Hullbreaker, not an insane amount of healing either. I mean, you get a decent little bit of healing, a decent little bit of damage, but it's nothing crazy. I don't really feel like it's super, super strong either. So when it comes to bruisers, unless you're getting like a Hullbreaker proc on like 3 people in a team fight or a bunch of damage, overall it just doesn't feel that strong right now. The enchants that do feel really strong are going to continue to be Stasis and Quicksilver enchant on a lot of squishy champions and 80 carries. And then Veil is extremely OP right now as well for all of the enchanters, especially. So of the enchants so far, those are kind of my main thoughts. Of course, we'll go into more detail on the enchants the more we play everything as well. Then after that, Hullbreaker as well is back, and this is a really, really big change. So Hullbreaker, and I'm going to kind of tie in TP to this as well. So TP is now a summoner spell, and Hullbreaker is back. So Hullbreaker being back the reason this is really, really important is because it makes the meta a lot more split push heavy. It's a little different than before. Based on what I could tell, you don't actually like lose the buff to minions just because someone's near you now. So like a teammate can be near you and the buff to minions seems to still be up. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it seemed like to me, and that's what I read, unless I misinterpreted it. So now, I mean, again, split pushing is going to be really, really strong. Champions like Sion, like Fiora, Camille, Jax, they're all way better now. And stuff like Fiora was already really, really strong. And now if you are a top laner and you don't have Hullbreaker and the enemy does, it's really hard to kind of fight against them. So that is quite difficult. And if you're, say, a jungler or a top, or an ADC or just any role that is not top lane, you now are kind of stuck. Like if your top laner is doing really, really bad, it's very hard to kind of do anything because your top lane, your side lane is just getting pushed super hard, which can be quite difficult. And then TP as well, it kind of makes it so if you're losing lane early, you can just TP back to lane and you don't lose out on as much. But it obviously makes your combat worse, so you can't really win lane as hard with it because you don't get ignite or stuff like that. And it also makes those split pushers, again, able to potentially rotate to fights when they need to. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Overall, I don't think teleport's very useful, but it did come, so I thought I'd mention it as well. Enchanted Piggy, by the way, is only on Legendary Queue. That's the one that spawns at 3 minutes and 30 seconds in the game, the little objective. I think that's only in Legendary Queue because it's not been in any of my games. That's what my chat was telling me. And then something they did to kind of make Hullbreaker a little less OP, by the way, they made it so that if you kill the outer turret, so you kill the tier 1 turret, before 9 minutes, there will be a shield on the tier 2 turret. That way, you can't just immediately go and kill the tier 2 turret as well. It's just going to be too tanky. You're not going to be able to do that. And then similarly, they made it so if you kill the tier 2 turret, the one I'm on right now, if you kill it before 11 minutes and 30 seconds, there's a shield on the inhibitor. So then for the next 30 seconds, and these shields last for 30 seconds, by the way, after taking down the turrets. So you can't kill the other turret right away, basically. It's very, very hard. I think you're going to see that right now. You can see the shield on the turret as you see me trying to go kill the Victor. I was trying out the Stride Breaker. But you can see there the shield is on the turret because I just killed this one before 11:30, which, again, is another thing. And so, yeah, overall, basically the biggest things are the timers. So, again, that 6-minute objective plate drop, 11-minute Baron being weaker, and then the 19-minute Elder. Those are really like the absolute biggest things. But then you got the stuff like the Bloodthirster on 80 carries. You got the new enchants not really being that strong, honestly. A lot of them, I would say, we'll definitely have to try out more and kind of see. But those are my initial thoughts. Those are kind of the initial things. Is you know, not super impactful, a lot of these enchants, but some of them certainly will be. The one Repulsor definitely will be a bit better as a potential protective thing, but a lot of times still will just be worse than something like Stasis or QSS. And again, the more we kind of try things out, the more we'll figure all of that out. Hullbreaker being back definitely changes top lane meta again. Same with the TP coming back a little bit, but not quite as much. Then the turrets, again, if you kill an outer turret or a middle turret at, like, you know, before you get later in the game, you get a shield in the next one, so it's harder to just straight up break open the game. And so, yeah, this was a shorter video, just trying to give you guys the more concise explanation on the biggest stuff you really need to know if you didn't want to read through the patch notes or watch my hour-long patch notes video. So I hope this was useful for you guys. I hope I was able to give you some insight. I'll be streaming every single day on the new patch starting tomorrow, which would be today at the time that you guys are watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.